Dick Van Straalen,
Yeah.
born 7th of April 1944. 60 years. The reason I'm doing balsa boards, it's part of our heritage. Right? When you go back in time, balsa was used before we had foam. Right? So it's part of surfing's heritage, where Polonia's got nothing to do with surfing. It's just something they're doing now as a modern material. But balsa is part of our heritage and so much relied on people riding balsa boards. And it's a special material. Surf's really different to everything else. It's the strongest timber in the world for its weight, and it's a weed. So the grain goes up and down rather than the grain going round, like most other timbers. I use early days balsa boards. It's hard to explain. You get all these logs, and you put them together, and you draw out your outline, and then you split all the logs up again, and you take a lot of balsa out of the middle, and you router it all out to make. So what you're doing is making balsa framework. But in our modern days, because balsa is so rare, you're just wasting a lot of balsa, and you can do nothing with it. So I can't see that we should waste that material, but it's just waste, and the world's got enough waste as it is. So I make my framework out of EPS styrofoam, right? Which balsa and styrofoam are in the same vein. They both make gliders out of both of them. They both got air in them, right? So that's what I do. So when I do my balsa boards, I look at what we're doing, make the framework out of styrofoam, and then we vacuum form balsa over it. So you've got inside your balsa board, you've got styrofoam. Then it's glass and epoxy resin. Fibers all over and epoxy resin. And they're all glassed in epoxy. It used to be all glassed in polyester, and then when you look at boards in polyester, after about 4 years the resin goes brown, because it's not light stable, where epoxy will stay clear the whole time. And you look at epoxy boards, your balsa is, when you look at your balsa board, it is so, the grain, you can see it, right? Because the resin is so clear, where polyester resins aren't as clear as that. When you do a board in the polyester, it doesn't look like that, right? And it'll stay like that for the rest of its life, right? And as your balsa board, as it gets older, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, because epoxy resin systems are what's called slow emission, so that means it takes a lot longer for the resin to set than polyester. Like polyester, you can make a board in a day. If you use epoxy, it takes at least 4 days, right? Because of the way. That's why you don't see many epoxy boards yet, because of no one knows how to adapt to the manufacturing process, because it's really different. You can't just make a board in a day, right? So they have to change how they think, and I don't think people can do it yet, because they're just locked into that. Different, just different. Like the balsa board you had, you could have rode at the pass on an onshore day, right? Because it'll cut through everything. Carbon has a whole different structure and flex to it, right? You look at carbon now, it's used just about in everything. You know, you've got carbon bikes, you've got carbon fishing rods, everything. And carbon is a really rare material, right? But it's the way you use it. Like there's some carbons that are what's called pre-preg, which means the resin's inside the carbon, right? So, but that has to be heated. So it's as soon as you heat it, the resin goes off and into the carbon. But with pre-preg carbon, you don't have waste, because you don't have resin sitting around anyway, because there's no resin you've got to mix. All right, there's all that sort of thing. And then a lot of people don't realise with epoxy, the solvent is vinegar. You don't have to use acetone. No one's woken up that yet, right? Because when I was starting to shape again, a friend of mine made surf boats. Right? Like, you know, the clubbies here rode those surf boats. Well, he was making them, and he said, I know I had a little shed. He said, why don't we share a factory for a while? And I said, yeah, no worries. So I shared a factory with him, and he used to take me to all the carbon fibre, all the resin expos, and I learned so much just share. And he was very knowledgeable on moulding and things like that. So I changed my whole view on what we're doing, and we made a lot of carbon boards. I just think carbon's really good, but you know, it needs care. It's not for your average person, it's for someone that really wants to ride something different. It's just same as musical instruments, they're all different, you know, and that's just another just makes a different sound, or wherever you want to, because it's interesting. Me and Rasta did something, a talk for a surfing symposium, right? And we're talking about it, and he said, Dick Van Straalen's really interesting. He said, when you talk to him about boards, he says, how's it going? He always taps them. I tap boards and listen to the sound. And I said to Dave, yeah, but that's the same as people, when they play guitar, they string it and they listen to the sound. They play a drum, they string it and listen to the sound. Surfboards are no different. You can tell by the sound how they're going to go. Right, when you tap it, you can tell whether they're under tension, or if it's loose, or it's not, you know, it's sloppy, or anything, because the sound it makes. And it was really interesting. After we did, the guy who's the head, Mark Price, who's the head of Firewire, the world, he sent me an email, right, after the talk, and he said, we've never met, but what you talked about was very interesting, because the other thing I talked about is saying, the way we're going with computer shaping, we're going to kill creativity. Right? Because there's no creativity anymore, and it's the same as everything. You look at the world, the more and more we use computers and social media, everyone's in the same line. There's no, you know, there's no individuality hardly coming through, and it's sad in a way, right? And it's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I look at a lot of IT, although he works in it, and it's not as good as people make out it is, because with the surfboard shaping machine, it's a good machine, but they use it wrong because they were trying to make money. If they used it properly, it'd be more expensive to shape a surfboard on a machine than I shape it by hand, because they use just one tool to do the whole thing, where to do it properly you have to change the tool, one tool maybe 4 or 5 times, use different tools to do different things. Right? Because a friend of mine's a really good engineer, we're looking into it really good how to do it. And then they've also got really good scanners. So if you've had a board that you like, you can put in a scanner that scans it properly. And if you had the right machine, you can make exactly the same thing. But the way they're doing it now, you never will, because the cutting heads are far too big to cut down time. It's just a collection of surfboards. To give you different feelings. It's like, you know, not everyone listens to the same album. So like in your music collection, you've got all these different albums that all give you different sounds. Same with surfboards. You've got a surfboard quiver, they'll all give you different feelings, right? No matter where you go out, you can go, all right, I'd like this feeling today, or I like this feeling, or I like this feeling, right? That's what quivers do to you, because they're just different vehicles to ride. It's like, you know, you can ride different push bikes, you can drive different cars. It's no different to a quiver. Sustainable surfboards, to me, are surfboards that last, no matter what they're made out of, right? If a surfboard lasts for 15 years, that's sustainable.
Yeah.
Why make these pop-outs that last for 3 months, right? No matter what it's made out of, that's not sustainable. You're just creating rubbish,
Yeah.
right? We're surfers, we're supposed to be a bit in tune with the environment, but you go to the beach and you see broken leg ropes, you see wrappers. No one understands that we're in trouble. You know, it's the same with Kelly Slater's wave pool. Water is the most precious thing we have. Where's he going to get the water from to run it? He's in the desert. There's a lot of questions to be asked where we're going, and Australian Surfing Association, all they're interested in is running contests, and what they don't realise, 85% of the people surf for the fun of it, and that's their customers. If they don't look after their customers, they're all going to get shot. That's the reason they're all going down. They're not looking after their customers anymore, right? And you look at most people that surf for the fun of it, they don't wear Billabong, Quicksilver or Ripcord.